page 36. Vrindavana Basi Jato. Yeah, we actually were just messaging each other about that. Yeah. Essentially. Uh, I know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Haribol, Haribol. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Oh. Haribol.
Vrindavana Basi Jato. Vaishnavera Gana. Prarthame Vandana Kori. Sabara Charana. Nilachala Vasi Jato. Mahaprabhurgana Bhumite Puriyavando Sapharajarana Navadvipavasi Jato Mahaprabhur Savaracharana Vando Hoya Anurakta Mahaprabhu Bhakta Jato Goda Deshistiti Savaracharana Vando Koriya Pranati Jai Deshe Jai Deshe Baise Gaurange Ragana Urvabahu Kori Vando Sabadai Charana Hoya Chena Hoi Bena Prabhu Jato Dasa sabada charana vando Tante korigasa Brahmanda tarite shakti Dare jane jane Eveda purane guna gaje basuni Mahaprabhu gana sava patita pavana Tailo bimoi papilo inu sharana Vandana karite moi kato shakti thori Tamo buddhi dose moi damba matra kori Taptapi mokera bhagya manera ulasa Dosak shami moadame kara nija dasa Sarva vancha siddhi hoy Yama banda chute Jagate dorlava hoya prema dhana lute Manera vasana pona acharita hoya Devaki nandana dasa eloviko jaya Vaishnav Thakur jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur jaya Vaishnav Thakur jaya By the Vaishnava's mercy, one's desires are perfected, the fetters of Yama, the Lord of Death, are quickly released, and the treasure of Prema, which is rare in this world, is plundered and distributed. Page 200. Shri Krishna Chaitan. Whole verse. The whole. Let's do it, yeah. I know surface level. Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I offer glorification at the feet of all the Vaishnavas who are residents of Vrindavan. Falling to the ground in prostration, I pray to the feet of Sriman Mahaprabhu's associates who are residents of Neelachal. Becoming filled with loving attachment, I submit my glorification at the feet of all Mahaprabhu's devotees, who are residents of Navadvip. Bowing down in obeisance, I pray to the feet of all Mahaprabhu's devotees, who are situated in Gauda Desh. Raising my hands, I offer glorification at the feet of all Gauranga's associates, in whichever country they may reside. Holding a straw between my teeth, I submit my glorification at the feet of all the servants of Mahaprabhu, who ever were or will be. Each of his devotees possesses the power to deliver the entire universe. The Vedas and Puranas glorify this divine quality of the Vaishnava to all willing to listen. All the associates of Mahaprabhu are saviors of the fallen, so I, a sinner, fervently take shelter of them. What power do I have to glorify them? Afflicted by ignorance, I only exhibit conceit. Yet even one who is dumb, such as me, is greatly fortunate and joyful at heart to have an opportunity to glorify them. O Vaishnavas, forgive the faults of this fallen soul, and make me your own servant. By the Vaishnava's mercy, one's desires are perfected, the fetters of Yama, the Lord of Death, are quickly released, and the treasure of Prema, which is rare within this world, is plundered and distributed. They quickly fulfill the heart's longings. With this in mind, Devaki Nandan utters this Vaishnava Vandana. Okay, page 200. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive doya kori Svaparsada sviya dhama Sahavatari Atyanta durlabha prema Kori bare dana Shikaya saranagati Vakatera prana Danyatmani vedana. Gopchit Vivarana Avasya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana Bhakti Anukula Matra Kayera Svikara Bhakti Patikula Bhava Vajanangikara Saranga Saranagati Hohi Vejahara Tahara Pratana Sune Shinanda Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Tante China Kori Bhakati Vinoda Pade Tu Paradori Kadia Kadia Bole Amito Adhama Shikaye Saranagati Karo He Utama Jaya Swapasada Jaya Gaurari Swapasada Jaya Gaurari Sada Jaya Gaurari Swapasada Jaya Gaurari Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa. Out of compassion for the living beings, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended in this world along with his personal associates and divine abode. In order to bestow the extremely rare treasure of Prema Bhakti, he taught Sharanagati, which is the life and soul of the devotees, humility, submission of the self, acceptance of the Lord as one's only maintainer, faith in Krishna's protection, acceptance of acts favorable for bhakti, and rejection of that which is unfavorable. Whoever embodies each of these 6 facets of Sharanagati has their prayers heard by the son of Nanda Maharaj. With a straw between his teeth, Bhaktivinoda prostrates before Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana, embracing their lotus feet. Weeping, he says, "I am the lowest of men. Kindly teach me unconditional surrender and make me an excellent Vaishnava." Page 204. Nivedana Kori Prabhu Tamara Charane Patita Dhamami Jane Tribhuvane Amasama Papi Nahi Jagata Vitare Mama Sama Paraji Nahi Ko Samsare Se Saba Papada Aparada Mayami Parihari Pailaja sabajano tumi bina karami loibo sharana tumi sarveshwareshwara Brajenja Nandana Jagata Tomara Nata Tumi Sarva Moya Toma Pratya Parada Tumi Karokshaya Tumi Tosile Pada Janera Shaya Tumi Bina Rakiva Achedaya Moya Sirupatava Para Radhijana Jato Tomara Sharana Gata Hoive Satata Bhakati Vinoda Pade Loya Sharana Tua Pade Kare Aja Atma Samata Prabhu He 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 Brajenja Nandan Jaya Brajenja Nandan Brajenja Nandan Jaya 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 Bhakti Vinod Thakur Bhakti Vinod Bhakti Vinod Thakur Bhakti Vinod Jaya Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I make this submission at your feet, O Lord. I am lowly and wretched. This is known throughout the three worlds. There is no sinner like me in this world. There is no offender like me in all of existence. I feel shame even in casting off all of these sins and offenses, for you know everything about how vast and egregious are my wrongdoings. In whom shall I seek refuge other than you? You are the Lord of the Lords, O Brajenja Nandana. The world is yours, O Master, and you encompass everything. Absolve me of my offenses to you. You are the sanctuary of those who have faltered. O Benevolent One, who is there but you? All such offenders to you shall always come to a point of surrender to you. Thus, Bhaktivinoda, surrendering at your feet, now offers you his very self. Would anyone like to sing a bhajan for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If not, I will do. No problem. What? Okay. Maybe, what about Parama Karuna or something like that? Avatar Sar. Parama Karuna Bahudui Jana Nitai Goda Chanda Sabhavatara Sadashiromani Kevala Nandakana Parama Karuna Pahijana. Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sujrida Vishwasa Kori Vishaya Chariya Serase Majiya Muke Bolo Hari Hari Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Vishwasa Kori Vishaya Chariya Serase Majiya Mukobolo Hari Hari Dekori Vai Tribhuvani Nai Emona Doyala Data Pashupaki Jori Pasane Vidare Sunajara Gunagata Dekori Vai Tribhuvani Nai Samsara Majiya Rahilo Padiya Sepade Nahilo Asa Apana Karama Bunjaya Samana Kohoyelo Chanadasa Parama Karuna Pahudu Ijana Nitai Goda Chanja Saba Avatara Sadashiromani Kevala Nanda Kanda Pahudu Ijana Nitai Goda Chanja Nita he, Goda he, Goda he, Goda he, Goda he, Goda he, Goda he. Jaya Jaya, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga Jaya. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Yeah. No, I'm not sure actually. Okay. The two lords, Nitai and Gauda Chandra, are supremely merciful. They are the essence and the crown jewels of all avatars, and they are the source of absolute bliss. O brother, worship Chaitanya Nitai with unwavering faith, renouncing material enjoyment and drowning yourself in that rus of worshiping them. Let your lips chant Hari Hari. Just see, dear brother, in all the three worlds no one bestows mercy like they do. Animals and birds shed tears and stones melt upon hearing the narrations of their glories. Lochan Das says, since you remain submerged in material enjoyment, the aspiration to take shelter of their lotus feet has not arisen. Thus you suffer the consequences of your own misdeeds, as meted out by Lord Yama. Krishna. Tirtha. Yeah.
this purple book or online. Just search Keshavastakam. It's on Iskanda's Desire Tree. This one. Ready? Page 323 in this book. It's also in this pen. Nava Priyaka Manjari Rachita Kana Purashriyam Taramalati Kalita Shekare Nojvalam Daro Chavi Satyutika Gratita Valgavaikakshaka Braje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Pisangi Manikastani Pranati Shingi Pingekshane Mridanga Mukidumale Shabali Hamsi Vamsi Priye Itas Vasurabi Kulam Taralama Vayantam Muda Braje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Gana Pranayam Duran Madhura Narma Goshti Kala Vilasa Nilayan Milad Vivida Vesha Vidyotina Sakina Kila Saraya Patishuha Sayantam Gira Braje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Shamambukanika Vali Daravilindita Gantaram Samudagirida Tubir Likita Charupa Chankuram Udanchadali Mandali Duti Vidambu Vakralakam Raje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Nivadanavattanaka Valilokanot Kantaya Natat Kura Putanchale Alagubid Bhuvam Vindatim Kalena Davala Gatam Laguni Vartayantam Puro Raje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Padanka Tatibhivaram Virachayantam Advashriyam Chalataralanaichiki Nichaya Dulitam Rasrajam Marula Harichanchali Krita Dukula Chandan Chalam Braje Vijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Vilasa Murili Kala Dvani Birula Sanmanasa Kshanara Kila Balavi Pulakayantamantargriye Muhurvidaratam hidi Pramuditam cha Goshteshwari Vaje Vijayanam Vaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam Upetya pati sundari tati birabi abhyarchitam smitan kurakaram biter natarapanga bangi shatai Stanastavaka sancharan Nayana chanchari kanchalam Bhaje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Idam Nikila Balavi Kula Mahotsavalasanam Kramena kilaya puman patati sustupadyastakam tamujvalam dhyam sada nija padaravindadvaye ratim darara chanchalam sukayatad vishaka sake Vraje Vijayanam Vaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Vraje Vijayanam Vaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Jaya Keshavadev Jaya Keshavadev Keshavadev Jaya Keshavadev Jaya Keshavadev Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. English. With fresh kadamba buds adorning his ears, strings of fully blossomed malati flowers forming a crown upon his head, and a Brahmin thread of slightly opened and charming jasmine flowers slung around his neck. He returns from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshav. Wow, this translation's way better. Coming back from the forest to the village of Braj, he happily calls his straying Sorabi cows, Pisangi, Manikastani, Pranatashringi, Pingekshana, Mridangamuki, Dhumala, Sabali, Hamsi, Vamshi Priya. I worship that Sri Keshav. Coming back from the forest on the pathways of Braj, he laughs and jokes with his affectionate friends, who are all expert in the pleasantries of jesting, dancing, and singing, and who are splendidly dressed and decorated. I worship that Sri Keshav. His cheeks brilliant with beads of perspiration, his face decorated with pictures drawn in mineral dyes from the hill, and his splendid curling locks of hair deriding the attractiveness of a swarm of black bees, restless for honey. He returns from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshav. As he returns from the forest to the village of Braj, with the sweet sound of his flute, he calls the Sorabi cows who, eager to see their young calves, break the ground with their heavy dancing hooves. I worship that Sri Keshav. Coming back from the forest to the village of Braj, he beautifies the path with his footprints. His garland of forest flowers is colored by the dust kicked up by the cows running ahead of him, and his garments and peacock feather move with the waves of the wind. I worship that Sri Keshav. With the playful and sweet music of his flute elating all the house-bound gopis, whose bodily hairs rise up with delight, and also making his mother Yashoda joyous at heart, he comes back from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshav. As he returns from the forest to the village of Braj, the gopis mount the roofs to their palaces and with garlands of dancing glances and gentle smiles greet him, whose vision drifts over their breasts like a bumblebee hovering amongst a cluster of flowers. I worship that Sri Keshav. May Vishaka's friend Krishna make happy for all the time those who attentively read these 8 poetic verses, which are a great festival of bliss for all the gopis, by making the reader's intelligence shine with unwavering love for his lotus feet. Jai Shri Keshavastakam ki jai, Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Next. What season is it? Okay. Oh, it's late. I don't know. Set the Koti Gopi too long? Page 123. Radha Krishna Pranamoram Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna Pranamoram Yugala Kishore Jivane marane gati aranahi mora Jivane marane gati aranahi mora Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna Yugala Kishore O Kalindira Kule Keli Kadambera Vana Kalindira Ratana Vedira Upa Osa Bodhujan Ratana Vedira Upa Osa Bodhujan Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna Shama Gauri Ange Dibo Chua Chandanera Ganda Shama Gauri Shama Gauri Ange Dibo Chua Chandanera Ganda Shama Gauri Ange Dibo Chandanera Ganda Chamara Dulabo Kabe Heri Bomuka Chandram Tita 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 Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishora Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishore Gatiya malatir mala Dibodohar gale Gatiya malatir mala Dibodohar gale Gatiya malatir mala Dibodohar gale Gati malatir mala Dibodohar gale Adare tuliya dibo Karpura tambule Adare Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Maranai Ma Jivane Marane Gati Maranai Ma Lalita Vishakaya Di Jato Saki Vrinda Lalita Vishakaya Di Lalita Vishakaya Di Jato Saki Vrinda Lalita Vishakaya Di Jato Saki Vrinda Jato Saki Vrinda Lalita Vishakaya Di Jato Saki Vrinda Lalita Vishakaya Agyaya Koribo Seva Charana Ravinda Agyaya Koribo Seva Charana Ravinda Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishora Krishna Mora Yugala Kishora Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasir Anudasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasir Anudasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Sevaya Vilasa Kore Narottam Dasa Sevaya Vilasa Narottam Dasa Seva Vilasa Kore Narottam Dasa Sevaya Vilasa Kore Narottam Dasa Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishora Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishora Yugala Kishora Jaya Yugala Kishore Yugala Kishore Jaya Yugala Kishore Jaya Yugala Kishore Yugala Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. I don't know. Is he cooking maybe? No? I don't know. I'm not my brother's keeper.
Huh? Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Nama Yang Pravrajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruvajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taruvo Benedos Tang Sarvabhu Hridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vihinai Aparada Lakshay Chiptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripamayi Tvang Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Tavoivasmi, Tavoivasmi, Jivamitam Vina, Iti Vigyaya Radhe, Tam Maya Mam Charanantike. First day, Kripayati Yadi Radha, Padita Sheshabadha, Kima Padavishishtam, Pushti Maryadayorme, Yadi Vadati Chakinshit, Smera Soditasir, Dvijavaramani Pankya, Mukti Shaktya Tada, Shama Sundara Sekanda Shekar, Smeraha Samurali Manohara, Radhika Rasikamam Kripanite, Swapriya Charana Kinkari Karo, Prananatha Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimakabjarasalola Satapada, Radhika Padatale Kritastiti, Tambajami Rasikendra Shekara, Sambadaya Dashane Trinam Bibo, Pardaye Brajamahendra Nandan, Astu Mohan Tabati Balava, Janma Janmani Mariswari Priya. If Radhika is merciful to me, then unlimited obstacles to my devotion will be removed. There will be nothing superior for me to attain because I will have received the excellence offered by the paths of both Vaidhi and Rag. And if she speaks something while gently smiling, thereby revealing the brilliance of the rows of her pearl-like teeth, what significance will the oyster of liberation have? O Shamasundar, O you whose head is adorned with peacock feathers, whose face is graced with a laughing smile, whose murli flute enchants the mind, and who are most expert in relishing ras with Srimati Radhika. O ocean of mercy, please make me a maidservant at the feet of your beloved. You are the Lord of the life of the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and you are like a bee, always eager to taste the nectar of her lotus-like face. O Rasikendra Shekhar, foremost of those who are Rasik, who are situated at the feet of Srimati Radhika, I worship you. O son of the king of Braj, O all-pervading one, O Mohan, who enchants the minds of all, taking a piece of straw in my teeth, I pray that your supremely beloved Sri Radha be my dear worshipful goddess, birth after birth. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our grandfather gurus Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates and to his to all the assembled devotees and all the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhu Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. And here we are. Where are we? 6th canto, 1st chapter, Ajamil. I'm just going to say where we ended off last time. I just want to ask Babru again, what position are you in? Yes. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position. But if in the human form of life he is taught how to associate with the Supreme Lord or his devotee, his position can be overcome. Now we're going to talk about, we're not, Sukadeva Goswami is. In the beginning, this Brahmana named Ajamil studied all the Vedic literatures. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, and good qualities. Firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunctions, he was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control.
Who is this?
Ajamil. Firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunction, he was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control. Furthermore, so this narration of Ajamil is all about association, the importance of association. See how good he was. Mind under control, senses under control, gentle, mild, knew all the Vedic injunctions, followed them, and studied the Vedic literatures. Furthermore, he was always truthful. There's a lot of good qualities there. And he knew how to chant the Vedic mantras. He was also very pure. He was respectful to his spiritual master, the fire god, guests, and the elderly members of the household. Indeed, he was free from false prestige. You'd expect somebody like that to have false prestige, but he didn't. He was upright, benevolent to all living entities, didn't squash a mosquito, step on an ant. He was always careful. And he was well behaved. He would never speak nonsense or envy anyone. That's a pretty amazing set of qualities. Once, this Brahmana Ajamil, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruit, flowers, and 2 kinds of grass called summit and kush. They're used for sacrifices. On the way home, he came upon a Sudra, a very lusty, 4th-class man, who was shamelessly embracing and kissing a prostitute. The Sudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying, as if this were proper behavior. Both the Sudra and the prostitute were drunk. The prostitute's eyes were rolling in intoxication, and her dress had become loose. Such was the condition in which Ajamil saw them. What was the condition? They were in a very awkward position. What was it? Intoxication, drunk, eyes rolling, clothes loose. He was smiling, laughing, dancing. The Sudra, his arm decorated with turmeric powder, was embracing the prostitute. When Ajamil saw her, the dormant, lusty desires in his heart awakened.
Baby?
Yes.
Does that mean that, so we just heard all these qualities about Ajamil, and I'm thinking of how Judd Bharat was at the stage of Bhav. So how can we understand where Ajamil was within the creeper of bhakti?
Did everybody understand the question? So he's referring to Judd Bharat, who we heard about 1 canto ago, in the 5th canto. And he was a king, and he left his whole kingdom as like somebody leaves the bathroom after passing stool. And he went to the forest and he worshipped Narayan in the form of the sun god. He was actually approaching Bhav, and he was experiencing ecstatic symptoms like hair standing on end, complexion pallor, what else? Weeping. Hmm? Isn't that hair standing on end when you haripulate? And he was experiencing Astasattvic bhavs. And then he saved a drowning deer. And so he became attached to the deer. And he fell down so far, as if the deer was his little baby, that he became a deer in his next life. But because of the elevation from his previous life as Jad Bharat, he associated with sages, not other deer. At first, the deer ran away from him when he was Jad Bharat because he was more attracted to be with other deer than with Jad Bharat. And Jad Bharat was looking all over for him, and finally he met death and became a deer. So in his next life, when he became a deer, because of his previous life, he associated with sadhus and heard Harikatha. In his next life, he became Jad Bharat, a brahmana who remembered 2 lives ago, which is not usually the case. But because of his advancement, he remembered. And he didn't want to associate with anybody, so he played dumb. Like first he would take a shower, then he would pass stool. And so all of his brothers would just reject him and joke about him. So they even made him a scarecrow to scare away the birds. And then, anyway, later on he showed his true nature. And we end the chapter with him preaching to another king. So Haridas is asking, this Brahmin, he's having so many saintly qualities, and he fell down, and Jad Bharat fell down. First of all, I want to mention that a person in Bhava Bhakti can't fall down, but he's just showing the example that as high as you get, until you get your spiritual body, there's always a possibility of danger. So don't think, I'm okay, I'm advanced enough to take risks, and nothing's going to happen to me. I can criticize, I can talk nonsense, because I'm advanced enough. Gurudev explained that until ruchi, when you've kind of given up your home and things, or given up some material attachments, until ruchi is very dangerous time, because ruchi means taste. And you might have given up your taste for the low things, but if you don't have taste for the high things, then at any time you can be attracted again to the low things. So Bharat Maharaj didn't really fall down, but he's just showing us how careful we have to be. And then Ajamil has a lot of saintly qualities. Truthful, what else? Respectful to elders, knowing the Vedic literature, following the Vedic injunctions, mind and senses under control. Yeah, careful not to kill any bugs. And spoke the truth and chanted the Vedic mantras. But it didn't say, he was not at that stage where he couldn't fall down. Therefore, even with all those good qualities, in fact, at the beginning of every Kartik, Gurudev gives some warnings. He said, don't make this Kartik like a mela. Don't be looking for a wife or a husband. He said, even if you're the best lecturer, you could be the most in Maya. So even if everything looks good, feels good, tastes good, until we reach that high stage, we want to be very careful. So what was your question? What was the difference? It didn't say what stage he was at, but he could even have been, because of he was born in a Brahmin family, he could have even been in Nistha. which is not that high a stage. But that stage we can fall down from too, of course, without too much difficulty. Ruchi, it's a little harder. Ashakti, it's really hard, because in Ashakti, you are experience the semblance of your spiritual body, and you have ecstatic symptoms. A semblance of the ecstatic symptoms that we experience fully in Bhav, but even in Bhav, it's like are you going to work now? Or are you staying? Even in, where was I? Even in Bhav, it's like a closed Myra. You don't get the full taste until we actually get our spiritual body. But in the mature stages above, there are 3 stages. One is Antar Dasha, internal stage, where you totally forget your external identity and you think you're so-and-so Manjari, and you're actually in the scene with Radha and Krishna, internally serving. And then that disappears after a while, and then you're kind of rolling on the earth, weeping that where did it go? And then you come to the external stage of being able to speak and relate, but still feeling the separation. It was at that external stage that Raghunath Das Goswami wrote the Valapkusmanjali, because he could write, but he was still weeping, but he could write. So those are the 3 stages. So it doesn't at all look like he was at any of those very advanced stages of bhakti, but he was a very excellent Brahmin. He had the Brahminical qualities. As far as he possible, this is funny, it's funny part, funny and sad. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. That is, the men and the women, whenever you look at women or men, and you're trying to follow the principles of celibacy, then this even goes for a married man or woman, because there is so many narrations or histories, even of switching husbands or leaving your husband, even in the movement. What was I going to say? Right. So when you see one of the other opposite sexes, we don't look like. Am I looking at Ramananda Rai now? Do you think I'm looking at you, Ramananda Rai? You can tell?
Yes.
How can you tell?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing.
It was a good guess, because you're a little bit of a blur, not only because of my cataract operation, but you're a little bit of a blur, and I'm looking kind of like just beyond your ear. Huh? Not always, but a lot of times. It means that I'm not going to, then you start looking in each other's eyes, then you forget who you are. Yeah, eye contact particularly Prabhupada spoke about. Huh? Prabhupada spoke about eye contact. Try not to have eye contact. Okay, so where are we? So not even to see. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires. But because of the force of Cupid, like this, he tried to control his lusty desires, but because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind. In the same way that a sun and moon are eclipsed by a low planet, the Brahmana lost all his good sense. Taking advantage of this situation, he always thought of the prostitute, and within a short time, he took her as servant in his house and abandoned all the regulative principles of a Brahmana. Thus, Ajamil began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father to satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations so that she would remain pleased with him. He gave up all his Brahminical activities. Even, who was that other one? Is that Vilvamangalo? Vilvamangala Thakur? Yeah, he was also a good Brahmana. Then he became attracted to a prostitute. Huh? Chintamani. And then he realized his mistake and he decided to take a saintly life. But even then, when he was getting water to drink, he saw this young lady and he became attracted to her. And then he even followed her back to her home. And she was a married woman. And by the time he got there, she was somewhere in the back, in some room, and her husband was outside. So he looked like a saintly person, because he was all disheveled, like a beard and not like a Baba, but not for Miami. Not good for Miami. Anyway, so he said, "Can I speak with your wife?" And the husband, very innocent, said, "Of course." So he brought him to see his wife. And he said to the wife, "Can I borrow your hairpin?" Why some man would want a hairpin, who knows? But anyway, she was also innocent. She gave him her hairpin, and he immediately plucked out both eyes so that he would never... Yeah, and then he became happy. And then he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So he was on his way to Vrindavan, and there was a young boy. He said, "Where are you going?" "Vrindavan." The young boy said, "I'm going to Vrindavan too." So he said, "Take my hand and I'll take you there." And that was Krishna. And he composed a very beautiful song and poetry in glorification of Krishna on the way, called Krishna Karnamrita. Means the nectar for Krishna's ears. So it's just everything showing us to be careful. Because his intelligence wasn't pierced by the hairpin. His intelligence was pierced by the lustful glance of the prostitute. The victimized Brahmana, Ajamil, engaged in sinful acts in her association. He even gave up the company of his very beautiful young wife, who came from a very respectable Brahmana family. Oh, so this Ajamil, the other one, Vilamangal, when he was still with the prostitute, it was even his father's funeral. But he was so absorbed in her that he left the funeral and went to her, and he was so intoxicated that he didn't know what he was doing, so he needed to get across the river in the middle of the night, and so he mistook a dead snake, not a dead snake, what was it? A dead body for a log, and he got across by that. And then he mistook a snake, took a snake for a rope, and then he climbed up her wall, and he fell over the other side and was all bruised and injured. And then she said to him, "You're such a nonsense. If you had given so much attention to Krishna as to me, a bag of pus and blood, your life would have been different." So she happened to have been a pure devotee. There are pure devotee prostitutes who, in order to keep society pure, the men go to them instead of just mingle in society. So she was a pure devotee, and she said, if you would have done that, oh, your life would have been so different. And because of her potency, he got it, and that's when he left or tried to leave the material world. Okay.
Guru Devi,
Yep.
you said, so you just mentioned how we should like really be careful at all steps and all parts, and like there's always things. How did you, I'm really inspired by yesterday hearing from Manju about the deep surrender while painting. How did that develop, and how did you remain from falling into the other holdings of Maya?
Well, I haven't. I'm still praying for that. Manjari, what was that? Prabhupada said if a mother gets a blind son, and so she calls him, what does she call him? Padmalochan, lotus-eyed, like that. But you know the process.
Which process?
The process to surrender.
Sing the bhajans.
Yeah, sing the bhajans, pray. Come to all the programs, not just externally, but internally. Like me, I've been coming to programs for 58 years, but alas, I haven't been coming internally. Okay, so what's happening here? Because of the Prostitutes Association, I'll start at the beginning. Although born in a Brahmin family, this rascal, bereft of intelligence because of the Prostitutes Association, earned money somehow or other, regardless of whether properly or improperly. He was so lusty he couldn't care less, and used it to maintain the prostitutes' sons and daughters. So he got sons and daughters with her. This Brahmana irresponsibly spent his long lifetime transgressing all of the rules and regulations of the Holy Scripture, living extravagantly and eating food prepared by the prostitutes, so it just got worse and worse. Therefore, he is full of sins. He is unclean and addicted to forbidden activities. This man, Ajamil, did not undergo atonement. Therefore, because of his sinful life, we must take him into the presence of Yamaraj for punishment. I guess this is the Yamaduta speaking. There, according to the extent of his sinful acts, he will be punished and thus purified. So, it's not just random that Krishna made this material world so miserable. It's for purification. Like when you beat an ore, gold ore, and then like the goldsmith, it becomes gold. Or when you boil butter, it becomes ghee, because you keep taking off the impurities. But the butter is thinking, no, this is terrible. Stop. So now we're beginning a new chapter called Ajamil, delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, the servants of Lord Vishnu are always very expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadutas, they replied as follows." Oh, so that was the conversation. Why are you taking this man? This is why. In the beginning he was like that, then that happened. And if you didn't do atonement. Now atonement, as you know from the previous chapters, it may counteract what you did, but it doesn't take away the desire to do it again. That's why it's a waste of time. That was at the very beginning of the chapter. Parikshit Maharaj said, "What's the use of it?" And then Sukadeva said, "You're right, and here's the story." The Vishnu Dutas said, "Alas, how painful it is that a religion is being introduced into an assembly where religion should be maintained. Indeed, those in charge of maintaining the religious principles are needlessly punishing a sinful, unpunishable person. Why are they saying that? That's amazing. Let's find out. A king or governmental official should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, protector of the citizens because of his affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures. Can somebody turn off the AC? Sorry. Standard scriptures. And he should be equal to everyone. Yamaraj does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted, the representative of the king, and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? Like right now, it's really bewildering, isn't it? The mass of people follow the example of a leader in society and imitate his behavior. They accept as evidence whatever the leader accepts. People in general are not very advanced in knowledge by which to discriminate between religion and irreligion. The innocent, unenlightened citizen is like an ignorant animal, sleeping in peace with his head on the lap of its master, faithfully believing in the master's protection. If a leader is actually kind-hearted and deserves to be the object of a living entity's faith, how can he punish or kill a foolish person who has fully surrendered in good faith and friendship? It's still bewildering. That's what this reminds me, the lap of somebody who's promising protection. Prabhupada said, in this age, you put your head on my lap and I chop your head off. Meaning Kali Yuga, taking shelter of Kali Yuga people. It's like taking shelter of the tail of a dog who is, trying to swim across the ocean. A dog can paddle a few feet, but forget trying to swim across the ocean. Ajamil has already atoned, the Vishnu Dutas are saying, for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. That is, you heard the other day, when he was going to eat, he called Narayan, come and eat with me. When he's going to drink, Narayan, come and drink with me. And then, at the end, when he was dying, he was so attached to his little son that he called out grievously, Narayana. 4 syllables, so 4 Vishnu Dutas came. And Prajapati, what was the three Vishnu Yamadutas? What did that signify? 3 what? Oh, those who punish people who sin with the mind, body, and words. It is not, N-O-T, true that a mental sin doesn't get counted in Kali Yuga. I don't know, really.
It's in Ajamil Charita, Prabhupada explains that.
That what?
About 3.
No, he wasn't asking about what you said. He was asking where the devotees got the idea that if you commit a mental sin, it's not counted. I can't say. Because there are many mental sins, even in the 10 offenses to the holy name, considering the demigods' names to be equal to or independent of Krishna's name, to consider the body as a self or to maintain material attachments despite hearing so many instructions on the matter. I was discussing this with Malini a couple of days ago, and she said, well, what about this? if something just comes to you and you immediately fight it off. No, I don't want to think that. That's another thing. But if it's cultivated, and you don't try to stop it, then nasty, nasty, constant. There is 60,000 researchers have found there are 60,000 thoughts per, I forgot what, per hour or per minute. It goes so fast. Per hour probably. I'll check it on my phone.
Cannot be controlled.
Huh? It can't be controlled it can't be controlled by atonement. It can only be controlled by Harinam. Of all the processes, there are unlimited limbs of bhakti. Of those, there are 64 prominent ones, which I hope you'll all read in Nectar of Devotion. Of those 64, there are 9 prominent. Of those 9, there are 5. Of those 5, there are 3. Smaranam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. And then the one top is Harinam, Sankirtan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore he's now pure and eligible for liberation. That's very amazing. That's why you're Sankirtan. You're going out today? Good. Can that be your major service? Sankirtan Bihari, who takes pleasure in Sankirtan Das. He didn't chant with any offense, in that he didn't realize what he was doing. He didn't even realize that was the name of God. But like there were 10 offenses. But he didn't chant purely, means that he didn't chant with love. The Vishnu Dutas continued. Even previously, while eating and at other times, Ajamil would call his son, saying, "My dear Narayana, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayan, in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of lives. Incredible. I think I mentioned this about a week ago, that in Costa Rica, after his morning walk, I asked him, so chanting Hare Krishna by a pure devotee is like throwing a rock in the middle of a pond, and the concentric circles go to the end of the pond. What happens if a conditioned soul is chanting? In other words, everybody gets purified. He can purify the universe. What happens if a conditioned soul is chanting? Gurudev said, oh, that's like throwing a butterfly wing into a pond. It doesn't do much. So then we went to Italy. His tour continued. And he said, so everyone should go out for Harinam Sankirtan tonight. And so I asked him, what happened to the butterfly wing? He said, when it's an order from pure Guru, then it carries the Guru's power. Chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or a relative. So now we're just getting into Kali Yuga. For one who kills a brahmana. That's pretty amazing. Do you know that song that in ISKCON they sing it? And I sang it until I met Gurudev. Yani kani chapapani brahmahatya dikani cha tani tani pranashanti pradakshinaha pade pade. That means even if one is the killer of a brahmana, by circumambulating Tulsi, he becomes free. So I asked Gurudev, how come we don't chant it then? He said, because we want to circumambulate Tulsi for something positive, which includes the negative. But why do we circumambulate her? What do we sing? And the other? Tulsi Krishna Prayasi Namo Nama. Radha Krishna Seva Pada E Abhilasi. That's what we want. We want to enter into the kunjas under the direction of Tulsi and serve Radha and Krishna. So then naturally the negative is taken care of. So for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who, but not for one who keeps sinning and thinks if I just keep chanting and I keep sinning, the chanting will counteract the sinning. It has to be with great repentance, the chanting. What offense is that?
To commit sinful activity on the strength.
Louder?
To commit sinful activity on the strength of chanting the holy name.
Did you hear that back there, Mandali? Louder.
To commit sinful activity on the strength of chanting the holy name.
Good. That's a worst offense, Prabhupada said. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. That's kind of a relief. By following the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or undergoing atonement, sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Hari. That means once good. Although ritualistic atonement may free one from sinful reactions, it does not awaken devotional service, unlike the chanting of the Lord's names, which reminds one of the Lord's fame, qualities, attributes, pastimes, and paraphernalia. We're going to stop here because it's 9:44. I'm going to ask if there's any urgent questions. No? So the next class will be on Monday. Sunday is the appearance day of Sri Gadadhar Pandit.
Regarding the mind, I have a comment where Srila Prabhupada explains in the Nectar of Instruction about the conditioned soul, that the mind could be very dangerous. The impressions of the mind could be very dangerous for a conditioned soul. It can sometimes, push someone to do wrong activity.
As we see in the case of Ajamil.
Like for instance, like I heard, I don't know how true is that. The people, they take their babies and shake them because they feel a little irritated. They get angry.
Oh, yeah. And then the baby grows up demented or something because he wasn't loved.
When we tell the story of the guy who needed to be... Oh, wait, no, that's wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay, Gaur Premanandi. Panchakopatriya Vyastra Visnubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavani. Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. You are not a book, you are who? Sukadeva Swami yourself, King Parikya yourself. Vishnu Duta is yourself. Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Premanandi, Mahabhashare Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Sopa Punyam Yataranjan, Vishwasho Navajayate. Surira Vijajal Jotendriya Tahikal Jive Fale Visaya Sagare Dharmaje Jivayati Lobamoya Sadormati Take Jitao Kutina Sangsare. How could anybody who doesn't know the prayer, Rupa, not go in front of the sign or look in the book, page 243 and 4? Where are we? Kotina Sangsare, Krishna Bodha Doyamoy, Kori Bada Jiva Joy, Swaprashadana Dilobai, Sayanam Rita Pao, Radha Krishna Gunagal, Premi Dako Chaitana Nitai, Ek Bada Premi Bade Dakore, Dial Nitai Te Chana Bodhi Premi Bodhi Dakare, Dial Nitai, Dial Gore, Dial Nitai, Dial Gore. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giri Hari Shri Shri Radhavano Bihari Ji Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Maharaj Ki Jai, Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Paramesi Gurudev Ki Jai, Parat Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Bhagavat Mahaprasad Seva Ki Jai, Goa Premanandi. So now you're going to this seva of Bhagavat Mahaprasad.